I had this one case that went viral. Okay, it went viral. Everybody was so upset. I was so upset. My client worked his whole life. He was like, and then after 3 years, he got divorced from his wife. When they were dating, he put her name on the deed just in case he died, but he didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
And so 3 years later, every single dollar that he made since he was a teenager, he put into this house. She got half.
Denise Isaacs, and you have just an unbelievable presence on social media. Before we get to the social media stuff, because we have to talk about it, like, tell me just a little bit about your career. Like, where did it all start? Where did you go to law school, and then what were you doing?
Okay, let's go back a little bit further.
Okay.
I'm a girl from far Rockaway, Queens, New York.
Right.
And all I wanted to do was get out of New York for law school. So I went to Chicago. I went to John Marshall Law School, which now is part of the University of Illinois.
Got it.
And then I came back to New York. I practiced family law there for about 10 years. And I got married. And after I had a baby, I came to Florida. So I've been in Florida for 40 years, almost 40 years.
So yeah, so let's kind of drill down. I guess what year did you come to Florida? I got down here in like 1995. So when did you come down?
1987.
1987. All right. You know what's interesting is my father went to the John Marshall Law School too.
Oh,
Chicago.
did he?
Yes. Yeah.
Whoa.
What? So wait, I wonder. We'll talk about that later, I guess. But I actually started a program right after I graduated from undergrad at John Marshall Law School. I went for about a week, and they gave me so many books to read, and I couldn't think straight, and I couldn't handle it, and I dropped out. I took a year off before I actually went back to law school. But John
Where?
Marshall, it was hard. It was scary. I'll tell you what.
Oh,
You know?
yeah, they just tell you it's scary. And then ultimately you just put one foot in front of the other and everything works out. So where did you go to law school?
I went to Nova. Here.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a very good law school.
Oh, it's fantastic. But I was like a misfit in college. So like when I graduated, I was not prepared for like the rigors of what law school is. Like my mind was still in, the party mode. So when they told me that I needed to read and be prepared, and if they call on me and I don't know the answer, they're going to kick me out of the room. Or if I hadn't read, like they called on me within like a day or two and I hadn't read anything. And it was like embarrassing.
It was the last time you didn't read anything.
It was the last time.
Yeah.
And it was actually probably the last time I showed up to any class, because I think I just dropped out at that point because it was embarrassing. You have to know your stuff in law school, right?
I was one of 6. I think the class was 100 and something, and I was one of 6 women. And then within the next 3 years, women started going to law school.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's unbelievable to think, that it takes so much time for it to grow and then have more women in the field of law, right?
Yeah.
Did it when you were younger and you were getting a job or coming out of law school, did you find it difficult because you're a woman in the legal field? It was like more of like a good old boys kind of game, or no?
Okay, I have to tell you, I couldn't. I worked for a local lawyer who smoked cigars, and we went to delis to have sandwiches, and he represented the union and whatever. It was an interesting experience. Okay, it was an educational experience. And then what happened is that on the side, I got involved in politics. So it was Queens, and I ran 13 judicial races. 12 of my judges won, and 1 didn't. But then I ran him another year, and he won. So I ended up getting a job in Albany. And I worked in Albany half the week for half the year. I was the counsel on women's issues to the New York Assembly Speaker, to the first one and then the second one. And so in 1981, I helped negotiate passage. I was just the counsel.
Yeah.
I didn't make the decisions. But I helped pass the 1981, the equitable distribution law in New York. And so everybody started sending me family law cases.
Really, and that's
Yeah.
kind of how you got into family law. So what was it? What was it before? Like I don't know what equitable distribution is in the
It's how you
context of
divide up
family law.
money in divorce.
Got it.
It's the laws of how you divide money. It used to be that whoever the title was in, they got that property. If it was the house or the car, the person whose name it was got the property. But after equitable distribution, it didn't matter whose title it was in. If it was bought during the marriage, it was marital.
And that kind of was the beginning of. And was that already spread throughout states, or was it kind of spearheaded in New York, or did it? Was it? What I mean? Like some jurisdictions are different, but
Everything was
that catch on?
changing.
Did that catch on over time?
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Everything was changing. It was changing.
And what is Florida? Is Florida like an equitable distribution state? How does it work in Florida if you get
I want
divorced?
you to know that all states are not title states anymore.
Yeah.
I believe the states that I shouldn't make a general. Most of the states are not title states anymore. It's not whose name it's in. It's when it was purchased, and was it purchased with marital money earned during the marriage.
Sure. And so I guess the idea is that if husband or wife, they go to law school during the marriage, and then they end up getting their job, and there's an income, and then they're the ones that are, maybe whichever spouse is the one that generates the income, and they buy the property, and it doesn't matter who the title is. They're married, and so if they get divorced, it's marital assets, marital property.
As long as the money was earned during the marriage. But here's like a little tip. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
If you buy the property prior to getting married, and then after you're married, or even before you're married, if you put the other person's name on it and you don't have a writing, they own half. I had this one case that went viral. Okay, it went viral. Everybody was so upset. I was so upset. My client worked his whole life. He was like, and then after 3 years, he got divorced from his wife. When they were dating, he put her name on the deed just in case he died, but he didn't write anything down.
Yeah.
And so 3 years later, every single dollar that he made since he was a teenager, he put into this house. She got half.
Wow.
She got half.
And it was a short marriage. And
It was a short marriage, and he was just blown away.
So clearly there are ways to protect against that, right? And so in
Yeah.
family law
Prenup.
context, what do you do? I mean, what do you do?
Right. You get a prenup, or if it's before marriage and you're making a deal and you're living, lots of people live together for decades and have children together and they're not married. If it's a real property or a business, you need to have a writing. You don't have to have a prenup, but you need to have a real estate contract or a business contract. You need to treat life seriously.
Yeah, it's almost like listen. Obviously, it's personal, but there is a business aspect to it, and if you've earned money over the time, you want to make sure that it's protected, and even from someone who you think may be the one, right?
Who you love, and you had a verbal deal. Well, verbal isn't good enough.
Yeah.
It needs to be in writing. If it's real estate, it needs to be in writing. And then he said, she said, he said, she said. Who knows? Who knows what the truth is?
Yeah.
She says, he gave it to me. He says, no, I didn't. It was just for estate purposes, in case I died,
Yeah. And then they get divorced, and half is hers.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. So these are things that people really got to think about, especially in any type of relationship, is to reach out to a family law attorney like yourself to help guide them and help draft these documents and make sure that each party is protected.
Even if you're not married and you're not planning on getting married and you're entering, lots and lots and lots of people buy houses together, buy condos together. They need to understand. One person puts in $200,000, one person puts in $12,000, and as soon as they're on the title, they own half.
Yeah. I guess it's tenants in common, or it'd be not tenants by the entirety. I don't think.
Yeah,
unless
it would
it's
be
written.
tenants in common.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows until, one person comes home and says, I'm through.
Yeah.
I'm moving out. Buy me out. What do you mean buy you out?
Yeah.
It's like,
Okay, here's 12,000. No. I own half.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
do.
taking 12,000 now.
I do. And I hired a lawyer.
Oh man. Yeah. Yep. Lawyers can really we get in there.
No, we help people.
I know
The only
we do
reason,
help. We do help people.
the only reason that there are laws is because people have problems and they used to shoot each other.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
How did you do it? You'd beat each other up.
Eye for an eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have that kind of justice anymore, right?
No.
We have laws that are in place.
Supposedly, we don't have that kind of justice anymore.
Yeah. Well, civil. I
The
guess
world is getting to be a violent place.
the world is a violent place.